Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm RP.
And this is a podcast where a veteran like me introduces the world of gaming to a noob.
Like me.
Hey, welcome to episode 6.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm always happy when we get together.
Yeah,
It's always nice. You know, you get to play games and then you get to podcast. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah. Get some chips, get some dip, get some games.
Yeah. So what's new? Tell me what's new.
What's new? Let's see. I finally played Wingspan.
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I really
So I know we brought it up, I think, episode
Couple
4
episodes
maybe.
ago, yeah.
We talked about that you had gotten it. You like it?
I really like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I really did. It's a really good engine building. Like, the theme is one I didn't think I would care about. Birds.
Right.
It's just bird watching. I pulled the app out that you scan a little card and it does a little chirp like the bird.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I really liked it.
I'm shocked. I really am.
So
it's the hottest game right now. And
it's one of them. I mean,
And you understand. So you understand why it is.
Yeah, I understand why people like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about it? Or do you want to save it?
I think
until
we'll
we
save
actually
it
play
because
it?
I think
Okay.
it's something.
Would I be able to play it now? Or do you think I need a little bit more?
No, you'll be able to. That's the other thing. It's super simple. It comes with a sheet. It comes with like basically a scenario, like a little how to play
Yeah.
this for round 1. You're good to go.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was.
I like that.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
easy.
great idea. But I really did enjoy it. I'm glad I.
Good.
Yeah, even
That's
though I'm trying to cull my collection a bit, I'm really glad
Well,
it's
I'm glad
in my
the
collection.
games that you're getting, you're enjoying,
Mhm.
just like myself.
Oh,
So
so how many games of Villainous are we in?
At this point, to be completely honest, maybe like 25
Mhm.
to 30. I'll play it by myself maybe once every other day,
Which is great.
which is great. Yeah.
You're getting your money's worth.
I am absolutely getting my
Yeah.
money's worth. I bought the main one on sale for $24.
Mhm.
I got the 3 expansions.
Yeah, I think we
Which
kind of talked to you. You didn't have the main game.
Yeah, no, I didn't. And I still haven't really broken out the Marvel one.
Mm-hmm.
I played once, but it's harder to play on your own. I have gotten producer Audra to play with me
Mm-hmm.
a few times to the point where she actually enjoys the game. She's not just playing to make me happy.
Yeah.
With the Marvel one, definitely you work off of the other characters. There's more to it.
Yeah.
It's more detailed.
There
There is an expansion coming out soon, but I feel like Villainous is my game, man.
I like that you found the solo rules because it's not a solo game.
Yeah.
And you found on Board Game Geek the solo variant of one of many. I'm sure there's other ones.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there is, but this one's easy.
Mhm.
You get 20 turns to finish the game.
Yeah.
And I think that goes off of the rule saying 20 minutes. So they're just like, give you
Mhm.
a minute of rule. You need a 10-sided die and then a 20-sided die, but I just use a piece of paper and mark off my turns. Like,
Yeah.
that's all it's for.
I'll give you a 20-side die. I got plenty. I'll give you one.
Fair enough. It's fun. There are some cards that get affected by other cards, but
Mhm.
those I just discard and I draw another one.
Okay.
So like I tinker the rules. It's not perfect. Like the solo rules say, it's not perfect. It's just to scratch that itch.
Okay.
But now I completely understand. I've played as almost every character. It's definitely more fun. Don't get me wrong. It's more fun to play with someone because then the fading is based off of chance.
Mhm.
You have to roll the die. If you get between 1 and 4, you fate yourself. If you're on a spot that has a fate, only 1 or 2 because you can't fate somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's fun. I love playing it. I'm happy too that I'm playing it so much because I was all about collecting all of them, and they're not just sitting there.
Yeah.
I'd say right now, one of my favorites to play as. I really like Cruella.
Okay.
I think she's different. I think once you're playing somebody, she's hard. She's very hard because the rules affect you. But we'll save that for one of our mini episodes.
Yeah,
when we
we'll
get
definitely
into
talk
it.
about each box because it's ridiculous how different each character is, and that's one of the
There's some that are similar too.
yeah, like goal wise.
Yeah,
but they
goal-wise.
still play
Different.
Yeah.
And everything is beautiful. It really is. The box itself. So I keep all of my games in the podcast room. These are downstairs on the bookshelf. All the Villainous because they look so nice.
Yeah.
I just love it. And even Audra's like, yeah, they actually look really nice. and she understands it, and I love her for it. So thank you. But she's like, yeah, you want to play Villainous? I'm like, yeah. Do I want to play Villainous? Yes. But yeah, so I've been just playing a lot of that. Not trying anything else. I'm just playing Villainous
for now.
Yeah, for now.
We'll come across games.
I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll be like,
without a doubt,
how quickly you got grabbed by that. We'll run into other games where you're like, wow.
Once we get to IP. Let's get to more IP.
Yeah, we do need to hit more IP.
It's the IP. So the games that we played that haven't been IP on this podcast, I haven't thought about buying.
Yeah.
Where like we just played Funfair in our last episode, I liked it, but I'm not thinking about buying it. Where these are a heavier heavier-ish price point, and I bought them.
Yeah. So speaking of Funfair, I played again.
Oh, did you?
With my wife.
Did she like it?
She was fine with it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it much better.
Good.
I think because I knew how to play. I think if you and I gave it a second go around.
Yeah, maybe after this we'll try.
Yeah, I think I was a little more kinder to it than I kind of was. But still, I think everything I kind of mentioned.
Well, I think, too, not to cut you off, I apologize. Our expectations were met. We played the game. We know what it is now. So going in, I didn't know what to expect. So we felt the way we felt and everything. So when you know what you're doing, it's a little different.
Yeah, and I think everything I talked about with it needing expansion still rings true, but I think that I kind of knew what I was doing a bit more, made it more enjoyable for sure.
So are you glad you bought it?
Time will tell. I mean, I'm still very whatever about it. Like I don't, unless my wife says, "Hey, can we play that game again?" It might sit on my shelf for a while.
The good thing is, the box looks nice.
Yeah, no, box beautiful.
Beautiful box.
Looks good on my...
So it'll look good on your shelf.
Yeah, it looks good on the shelf.
You don't want like a small game like I have, a small game that we haven't really talked about on here, so I'm not going to bring it up. It's small, tiny, just sits there.
Yeah, maybe a year from now we'll
bring
come back and try it again, and then
maybe.
I'll start purging. It's either we toss it or keep it.
Well, yeah, there you go. But it's a theme park ride, and just like you go and re-ride rides or revisit parks, I think we should have to revisit some games we don't like for sure.
I saw you at a game night, though, with friends. You played some party games.
Yes.
What was the one party game you played? Looked like they were in a box.
That is Jimmy Fallon's Box of Lies.
Okay.
Very fun party game. We've played it a lot. And once I kind of walk you through it, the replayability of it, you may think, So if you've never seen Jimmy Fallon, he does this bit called Box of Lies where you have to open it and you either have to tell the truth or lie about what's on this card. The cards are very strange. Like it'll be like one of them is like a pancake with a smiling mouth. Like
they're pictures?
They're pictures,
okay.
Yeah, and you have to describe it, and you have to you have a piece that tells you to lie or tell the truth.
Okay.
Or like a caterpillar wearing boots with a purple background, like things to that nature. So if you get a card, like we were playing, and since I had played multiple times, they were describing something that sounded like something I had guessed before, and I was like, wait, can you pick a new card? I think I've seen that one. But there's a pack I haven't even opened and stuff. It's a fun game. It's a very fun party game for up to 4 people on each side. Okay. If you're not a good liar, it's tough.
Okay.
And if you're working with someone you don't have like a good
rhythm with,
it's easy to
I feel like that's most party games. So unfortunately we won't get to cover a lot of party games on here.
Yeah.
Unless we specifically have these kind of moments because of the player count. So I think
Box of Lies we could do one-on-one. So basically all it is, so you have this frame that Bryan was asking about, that it's like a square box from the show, and that way that there's like something covering your box and what's in it. Mm-hmm. So there's like there's just a square that has 9 boxes in it, and the team that gets to 5 wins.
Okay.
Well, that's the objective of the game. So then if you have to lie or tell the truth, it's easier with one person. I mean, be honest, because then you're the only person thinking of it. But like, I am not good at lying. So in the game, because I described like a hallway with a mop bucket and poop on the floor, and they were like, "Yeah, you're lying. There's no way that's true."
There's no way to poop on a game.
As crazy as some of the cards are, yeah, but it's a fun game. I got it as a Christmas gift, and I'm glad I did because I've replayed it like 6 or 7 times at this point.
We'll have to do a party game episode,
should.
like just like a theme, a run of a couple, because we played throughout the years a bunch. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Blockbuster.
that we played
game.
Blockbuster that night too, which you introduced me
I
to.
love Blockbuster.
That's a great game. The case alone is a reason to get it.
Yeah.
It's like an old Blockbuster case, but yeah, it was fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friends Bishop and Bailey.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll definitely have to do a party game.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. It'd be something different too.
Or even like mini-sodes. That could be.
Yeah.
Just throw them out real quick. So that's kind of it. I mean,
not too much has gone on. It's
gaming
been slow. It's kind of slow around here. Nothing's really happened. It's been a slow point to the summer. And then we have some exciting stuff coming in July. There's the Marvel Funko game that's coming out, right?
Yeah, the Funkoverse.
Which we've never played.
We have not played yet.
You own a bunch.
I own a bunch because I'm waiting to like get it out. Yeah, Funkoverse scratches my itch of like combining IPs.
Absolutely.
So Funkoverse is, just to give like a basic of it, it's those Funko Pop figures just on a smaller scale, a gridded map, and then there's like 4 different ways to play. There's like King of the Hill, there's a battle system, and then I think there's like 2 other ways to play. Again, I haven't really fiddled around with it too much. But there's different IPs, so it's what's out so far is like Batman, Harry Potter, Nightmare for Christmas, Game of Thrones, Jaws, Jurassic Park, Darkwing Duck, and then they're coming out with the Marvel sets, like you said. It's going to have Black Panther, Black Widow, Cap, and Iron Man, and then there's also a mini one that has Thanos in it.
And then there's a Space Jam one coming out.
And there's a Space Jam 2, the new Space Jam, that has LeBron James and Bugs Bunny in it. And that one has like a special like basketball mode.
Really?
Yeah, which I don't know anything about.
I think basketball mode is from the movie because it seems like when they play the game that there's some weird mode activated. So it might be from the movie.
Maybe, but
that makes sense.
I'm curious about that. And
so you can crossplay, like we could play
them,
Space Jam versus Harry Potter.
You can have Batman, Harry Potter versus the shark from Jaws and the Kool-Aid Man.
Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh yeah! Freaking amazing.
There's a Golden Girls expansion. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's a cheap IP to grab, but also Golden Girls for some reason they're popular again.
Very popular.
I remember watching or my parents watching it maybe in a
like
room.
Golden Girls.
I don't know if I've ever watched. I don't remember it.
It's popular in my family.
Yeah,
so
I know they're like dirty old women kind of, right? Like that's kind of the gimmick though. Like
somewhat, yes, but not really. It's about friendship and love.
Well, yeah, I mean obviously, but
it's about love.
They're all. So some other news, which I think is interesting. Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Our personal friend, Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, yes.
Of Thor Ragnarok fame and Jurassic Park and The Fly, is joining a podcast called The Dark Dice, and it's a high-concept audio drama that is a traditional game of Dungeons & Dragons.
Really?
That is edited to have higher production, so they added sounds, other like background noises.
So it's basically a story podcast.
Yep. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
So that
actually, what's it called? The Dark Dice.
Dark Dice. I listened to it on the way here. The
Did
first
you like
episode.
it?
Yeah. So I listen to a lot of Audible like books.
Okay.
And I like the ones that add like noise, and because not all of them do that. Some of them are just straight up reading. So I listen to all the Harry Potters. It's one guy doing all the voices. So he'll be like, "Hey, it's me, Dumbledore," and I'm like, "Hey, it's me, Hermione." Like he does that, and you're like, "All right, this guy's doing all the voices."
The guy from the audiobooks is great.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying like whenever it's interesting that they have to do all the voices. Or like it's me, Harry, and it's like Hagrid. It's like it's the same guy. I like the ones I listen to. It's by Neil Gaiman, American Gods. Mm-hmm. That one is like a full production.
Okay.
Different people reading the different characters, sounds, whatever. Like I like those type, a little bit more immersive. So that's what this is. So it's them doing a Dungeons & Dragons game. They cut out all like the little dice rolling and like they cut out that kind of like gamey stuff. So it's more of the story, but they'll still be like, I rolled a 12. Like,
oh, that's
so
cool.
you know,
that's cool, man.
You kind of know what's happening. So
yeah,
Jeff Goldblum hams it up.
Really,
he is perfect for this. So when you play Dungeons & Dragons, you have to introduce your character and then like describe them. So he's like, oh, it's me, Jeff Goldblum. And then he's like, my character's name is like Baldem, and he has like 2 gray eyes, like gumdrops. And like the way he talks phonetically, you're just like, oh man, this is perfect. And he describes his character like perfectly. And then the other people playing are all like really good. You could tell he's great too because he's an actor, but he's also like, I guess I'll do this. And then he'll roll 12 and it'll be like, and I missed. And the dungeon master will be like, and then you pulled on the chain and like describe what happens.
That's
and,
cool.
Like,
That actually sounds like a lot of fun. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, so they had a whole first season that was done already, and this is the second season that started on May 12th. And their episodes come out monthly.
Okay.
I guess because of production, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So
how long was the first episode?
like 45 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's not bad.
not long at all. It's
Nope.
like a continuing story. The story seemed interesting. I didn't know what was going on because you jump in season 2. And they kind of, in the beginning, I think they knew with Jeff Goldblum, they were going to get a lot of people. Because they're like, if you're just jumping on. And so they're like, listen back to season 1. And they kind of gave you like a fill-in. It seems like a whole company, like their production team, like
That's
him and his
awesome.
wife. And they do like all the noises and music and everything. It was very well done. Because at first I'm like, what is Jeff Goldblum's what? Doing Dungeons & Dragons? Because there are big Dungeons & Dragons podcasts. There's like Critical Role, which is huge. There's a couple other ones that are pretty big, and I never heard of this one. So I was like,
That's awesome.
I was like, man, how did
you find that?
just online? It was just one of those articles where I'm like, what is this? Like, what Jeff Goldblum? What? So again, I listened to it. And I think it's enjoyable for a monthly podcast, 45 minutes. Like it's something I could just throw on, and
Yeah,
like
can't
I
beat
said,
that.
there's a lot happening. And then once Jeff Goldblum starts talking, you're like, Jeff. Like it's just, he's like, I guess I'll like he just his way of speaking. I thought it was
I
pretty
love him.
interesting.
He's great.
He is. He really is.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'll have to check that out.
It is. So I was thinking with Jeff Goldblum kind of doing a D&D campaign is kind of interesting. And it got me thinking, who would I want to play with? Or what would be my D&D dream team?
That's interesting.
So I know you don't know much about Dungeons & Dragons, and maybe a
No.
lot of the people listening don't either. So I'll just kind of give you just like a little bit of a basic characters you would want in your party or your story. There's a lot of classes they kind of add it, but the basic like original would be a wizard, obvious magic user. That would be his role in the team. A fighter, which is a master of all combat styles, your archer, swords, axes, your more physical fighter. A rogue, which is a thief. That would be like your sneaky character that would kind of steal or be stealthy. Your bard, who is slightly good at combat, slightly good at magic, but mostly sings to influence the other people in your party. He's like your controller in a video game. Like he buffs you, gives you energy, and kind of gets you to motivate it. The cleric, which are healers, and then your dungeon master, which is the person who tells the story that you're playing in Dungeons & Dragons. So going off that, your dream team, who would if you were
like a celebrity?
If you
dream
were like,
team?
I want to bring in blah, 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 blah
Okay.
to play with me. So who would be your dungeon master? So this would be somebody who's good at creating stories, who's good at voices, good at like somebody.
First person that comes to mind, Ian McKellen.
Okay.
Sorry, Ian McKellen.
Sorry,
yeah.
McCallum.
I could see him just telling the story and his British voice.
Okay, so we got Sir Ian McKellen
Mm-hmm.
is your dungeon master. Okay, mine would be, and this is kind of cheaty because he's done it, would be Dan Harmon.
Oh yeah.
So he's done like
He's
Harmon.
good at the voices.
Yeah,
too.
he's done Harmontown, which was like a D&D podcast campaign, and then he also obviously loves Dungeons & Dragons because he did the Community episode of Dungeons & Dragons, which if you've never seen, even if you never watched a single episode of Community's
funny.
there's a Dungeons & Dragons episode, and it's fantastic. I don't know, it might be hard to find now because there's controversy because Ken Jeong dresses like a dark wizard or a dark elf, and people said it was blackface. So they actually took it
really?
off Netflix and Hulu, wherever it was. So I don't know if it's back because that was kind of in
okay.
the heat of everything. They
Yeah.
took that down. But if you can find it, it's
I'm sure it'll be on
a
YouTube.
fantastic episode. And the show itself's great.
Mm-hmm.
But that episode is great. So we got Ian McKellen is yours, and Dan Harmon would be mine. Who would be your wizard? Who would be your magic caster?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
That's my guy. He's my Doctor Strange.
Is this gonna be all comic book Marvel?
No, no,
cast
no,
of
no.
characters. All right,
No.
so
How about you?
who would be my wizard? I actually,
I would have said Dan Radcliffe, but he hates Harry Potter now.
he wouldn't want to be involved.
No.
I honestly thought of Ian McKellen.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm just like Gandalf. I
There you
need
go. I
Gandalf.
think you have Ian McKellen.
Yeah, he can cross over. All right, who's your fighter? Who's your combat master
So-
of weapons and
I thought about this real quickly. So I know I have two in mind.
okay?
I know that Vin Diesel loves Dungeons and
He
Dragons.
sure does.
So I was leaning towards him. But then I was also leaning towards The Rock.
Oh, The Rock
And there's a
would
little
be-
controversy right there.
Oh,
So I'm going to go with The Rock.
The Rock.
Because I like The Rock.
That would be a good one. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. He's going to beat anybody. Nobody's going to be able to beat The
Yeah.
Rock. You've never seen The Rock lose.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of technically one of the Fast and Furious, but he's in his contract, he's not allowed to lose. What about you?
Who would be my fighter? See, I would do the opposite. I would pick like the meekest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not like the big guy.
So I'm trying to think of like, you know how I'd do? I would do Daniel Radcliffe would be my fighter.
He would love that. He'd
Um,
ham that up.
Yeah. So that's what I'm always like, what's the opposite of everything? The Rock would be my thief. I'm gonna jump ahead. the Rock is my rogue. He's my
All right.
he's my stealthy.
Okay. All right. I can see that. All right.
Who's
So
your
The Rock
rogue?
is the.
This giant lumbering man is my sneaky.
So Dan Radcliffe's your fighter. The Rock's your rogue.
He's my rogue.
My rogue, my sneaky thief, Emma Watson.
Okay.
She's a great actress.
Yeah.
She's also beautiful, so she'll
She could-
distract you.
She could play the role.
Yeah.
All right, your bard. Who's your magic
My magic
Music.
singer,
music? Yeah.
Adele.
Okay.
I could see her getting into some weird stuff.
All right.
She's a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm leaning that way. Who else? I changed that.
Okay.
Miley Cyrus.
That's your bard.
That's my bard.
Okay.
She's out there.
She's inspirational.
She's inspirational. She's weird. She'd come in there like a wrecking ball singing a beautiful tune.
It's funny we both want women because I said Beyonce.
There you go. That's great. That was fun.
Beyonce. Well, we still got one more.
Oh, I'm like in my head. I'm
you
like,
wanna play.
I want to play, and I'm also like, did I pick the right people for this?
Well, they don't. You got. It's all the roll of the dice.
All right, what's the last one?
Our healers, our clerics.
Our healers.
Just any celebrity you think would play with like.
Does Fauci count?
Yeah.
No,
you
I'm not
could.
picking,
Why
I'm
not?
picking- I'm
Why?
not
You know
picking-
what?
I'm
That's
not picking Fauci.
That's Dr. Fauci would be amazing.
He would. That would be great. Paul Bettany. Actually, I want to swap. Paul Bettany. Basically, he was a bard in A Knight's Tale.
A bard.
A bard in A Knight's Tale.
Okay,
He was
yeah.
great.
He was amazing in that movie. Yes, absolutely.
So I'll put Miley Cyrus as the healer, and I'll put Paul Bettany as the bard.
Okay.
And that's my Dungeons and Dragons awesome team of celebrities. I'm missing so many people that I love too.
I know.
like
I
on the
put. Well,
list.
that's why I like putting on spot. If I gave
Yeah.
this ahead of time, you would have had like some
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy dream team. So my cleric would probably just be like I always think of like who would have like a good voice for this, and I love, and I can't think of his name. You'll know it probably, hopefully, the Professor Lupin from the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, yeah, I don't know his name off
Yeah.
the top of my head.
So David Thewlis
Yeah, exactly.
would be mine. I like his voice. I think
Yeah,
like,
he was
what would
great
be-
on Big Mouth. Did you ever watch Big Mouth?
No,
He
he's on
played-
that.
He played I forget the name of it.
He's coming up in the Sandman series. That
Oh,
got picked
perfect.
up by
Yeah, he's-
Netflix.
He's awesome, man. Everything I've seen him in, he was
Mhm.
good in Wonder Woman too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah,
That was cool, man.
that's our
I liked
DDD
it.
team. So
We'll have to actually play D&D at some point.
we have that Disney one that you and I have been eyeing up. That actually got set back. The one based
Oh
off.
yes, the Quest of Viewer
Yeah, the Quest of Yore.
from Onward.
We eyed that one. It was supposed to come out last month, and it got pushed back. And I think it got pushed back again. We'll definitely play that one because that's going to be like I think a very starter one
Okay.
from what I could tell, and I think it would be fun. I've played D&D once or twice, and it was interesting. I played as a thief. I'm always. They're like, "What do you want to be?" I'm like, "A thief. I want to be a thief. Can I please have be a thief?" And I jumped in the middle of their campaign, so it was already made the character for me. I didn't get to do all like the stats and everything, so I think that would be fun. All I remember is the Dungeon Master loved me because I was all in.
Okay.
I was like, let's do this. What do I have? I had a whole list of things that was in my pocket because I was just stealing stuff nonstop. So the only things I remember were there was like a horde of like zombies that were surrounding us. And in my pocket, for some reason, I had like 100 ball bearings.
Okay.
I had such random stuff on me. Like the guy was truly like, your character has all this stuff that he's just stolen for no reason because he's a kleptomaniac. So I had 100 ball bearings, and I was like, I'm going to roll to throw all the ball bearings on the floor. And Dungeon Master was like, what? And I'm like, I'm going to try to trip these zombies up. And he was like, all right. I rolled the dice. I tripped every zombie around us, so we were able to run away. And then the other thing I kept doing was there was like these... We were in some kind of dungeon. There was like these monks or something that kept coming out. They're like to stop us, and I just kept stealing their stuff. Like everyone's like, shoot an arrow, and I'm rolling. I'm like, I'm gonna steal his hat, and I would roll the dice, and I would just try to. He was like, you successfully stole his hat. I'm like, yeah, and I would run. Like I was useless, but I was playing.
That's fun.
A kleptomaniac because that was
wild card.
He was like, your guy's a kleptomaniac. He can't help himself. So I was like, steal his hat. I was trying to steal from my own people. We would be in the middle of something. I would just roll the dice. I would look at him, roll the dice, and he'd be like, you successfully stole. Then but he didn't tell the other people
what you stole,
what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
So every once in a while I would just be rolling dice and like looking at him, and he was just like, yes. Like so they would be like, I would pull out my sword. He'd be like, your thief has it, and I would have to give it back. So
do you have to roll to give it back? Or you just give it back?
You just give it back. But it was just fun. Like I remember that. I don't remember anything else that happened, but I remember like those little things that I
fun.
did.
Yeah,
D&D is a lot of fun for like as much like it kind of gets nerded on. Like that's nerdy. It is fun. It's definitely something I want to introduce.
Yeah, I can't wait.
You and like our other friends. Like just have a game day like that. So I'm hoping when that Quest of Yore comes out, it's fun. Like I definitely want to review and talk about that.
Absolutely.
There's another gaming news. So talk about Dungeon Master. There's a game coming out that's a Target exclusive from our friends at Prospero Hall for the Goonies.
Oh, yeah. You shared this.
I did.
Super excited. And it was also cool. Funko shared you sharing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I shouted out because I was excited. I love the Goonies.
Yeah, because it's Prospero Hall and Funko, right?
Yeah, and the Goonies. I love the Goonies. I do. It was one of those movies I watched a lot as a kid. Mm-hmm. Like my brother loved it. I loved it. So I was very jazzed up for it. And
That's
the fact
awesome.
that it's Prospero Hall, who I've enjoyed every game that they've done.
Making great games.
Yeah.
My history with the Goonies is very short. I've seen it once.
Yeah, you're not a movie person. Like
What?
you're not a 80s.
If I didn't grow up watching a lot of those movies, I don't go back and watch them. I love movies.
You love movies, yes.
But I'm not. If I haven't seen it,
you don't have to. Yeah,
I don't. I just watched a 2015 Best Picture movie last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really good chance if I didn't grow up on it and I didn't watch it a lot, then I go and see newer stuff.
You just watched Die Hard recently.
Yeah, in December, and I loved it. It was so good.
So
good. Which there's a game of that.
Yeah, there is. We'll get there eventually. I'm gonna have to buy it. So, yeah, like I love the Goonies, and what's interesting about this is that it has 9 adventures in it. So it's 9 like stories and scenarios, and it's a one versus all. So just like Dungeons and Dragons, there's a game master who's called the Goon Master. It's actually a title called the Goon Master, and he controls the foes. So it's like the Fratellis, which are the gang, and then the pirate One-Eyed Willie. So I imagine there's like different stuff going on than the movie kind of.
So it's like a Dungeons and Dragons feel.
It seems like it kind of has a Dungeons and Dragons feel, where the bad guy or the Goon Master is like kind of setting traps ahead of time as you're moving through the map.
That's pretty cool. It's a different approach to a board game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like having like a story like that, I think it's fun. Like it's
you had that IP.
Yep.
People love the Goonies. It's a top film for a lot of people.
It has miniatures.
Yeah.
Which people love.
The figures are cool.
The figures look very cool.
And then people must be excited about it, right? Because they've already announced the expansion.
So the base game comes with obviously Sloth, Chunk, a good amount of the kids that are kind of the mainstays, Data. And then they already announced the expansion, which comes with Steph, Andy, and Brand, which are the 2 girls, and then the older brother,
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. And that comes with 3 more adventures, more characters, and more bad guys that can be kind of spliced in. And it almost serves as a sequel to the movie where it follows the bully Troy and his dad.
Okay.
And I don't quite remember those characters, so they might be added into the game. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. There might have been something. But the back of the box basically says, like, it follows after the town didn't get, like, bought out, because that was, like, the story was the town was getting bought out for, like, development or something. So it's Troy and his dad looking for the treasure now, because the treasure at the end of the movie went off on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So it must be continuing that.
Okay.
Which I think is
That's
interesting.
pretty cool.
It's
yeah,
more,
it's not just it's an original-ish story.
It's not just more like pieces. It's not just more cards. Like, it's actual more content to the game and, like, more stories. And I thought that was interesting. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I can't wait to play that.
Yeah.
All right, are we
That's
ready?
kind of it for gaming news.
There's a lot of gaming news for you guys out there, and that's a good segment that we do, because I don't particularly know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, now that I run in the Instagram and kind of I see all this stuff and it gets me all jazzed up.
We love our IP.
We do. All right, you ready?
Yeah, drum roll, please. Marvel United! Oh my god! Finally.
So we've literally been talking about this since episode 1.
Since episode 1. And I have been wanting to play this game forever.
I thought it was finally time.
It is time. We're at episode 6.
Mm-hmm. We
It's
just talked
time.
about the Marvel Park in the last episode opening up.
Mm-hmm. It's
We need an IP game. We've
Yeah,
been
we did.
not playing enough IP games.
Yeah. As we've talked about, that I bought into the Guardians of the Galaxy one when you bought the second pack, having not even played this game.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited.
Yeah, I played this game a bunch solo, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think it's a good,
All right, so
quick, light game.
So I'm looking at a cover that has Red Skull, Ultron, Hulk, Black Widow, Iron Man, Captain America, Taskmaster, and Captain Marvel on it. Give me the back of the box.
All right, new threats emerge across the world as supervillains sow discord, seize power, and crush ordinary people beneath their heels. What hope remains in a world where their master plans go unopposed? But where powerful villains rise, so too do mighty heroes. They'll travel the world in a desperate struggle to protect the innocent, face down dire threats, and confront these villains once and for all. It's a battle for the fate of the world, with victory only possible if the heroes stand united. Are you ready to play?
Oh, yes, I am. Let's go. Avengers Assemble.
And we're back.
Yeah, man.
So what do you think?
I loved it. I love this game. We kicked some butt. We assembled as the Avengers. I'm on a high. I'm on a cloud 9.
Yeah, I do like this game a lot.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
It's fun, cool.
It's easy.
It is easy.
Yeah.
And it's the figures and the cards are all. I love the art.
Mm-hmm.
It's new, as we talked about before. It's the
Chibi style.
Ghibli's, yeah. And
Ghibli's? Studio Ghibli's?
Studio Ghibli's
No,
style.
it's like chibi style, so it's like they kind of have like a big head and disproportionate body with very tiny hands, but it works. You don't need anything else. Like, it's not really important to the game, it's just something different.
The figures are so cool.
Yeah, the figures are very, very cool.
Which, as a fan of this game, knowing what it is, I have done the Instagram search, like just with the hashtags, and have seen that people have hand painted these themselves, which make it cool. But also just the blue and the red for the good and the bad guys works. I love this game.
Yeah, I'm not a painter, but so I wouldn't want to mess them up because they're fine as they are. But I've seen people who do paint, like Warhammer and like other type of games, like they'll buy miniatures just to paint, and they do a fantastic job. Like,
right.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, this game wasn't amazing. It's not an amazing game, but it's fun. It's easy. It's fun. You're playing as the Avengers. You're playing with your friends. You're combining all the different Avengers. Now, we only had the base set,
Yeah, so this is just a base set.
Because you have basically everything.
I have everything. So the reason I didn't want to cover everything is because you can't get everything. Like, this is what's available at the stores, and that's it. The rest of the stuff is all Kickstarter exclusive stuff.
Which,
so
I mean, maybe down the line we
yeah,
can do
I think the plan is to release the Spider-Man set to retail, and then maybe I think the X-Men base set. Whether or not the rest of them come out, I don't know. So it's like I almost don't want to cover them, but it could be interesting to talk about as well. Some of the other boxes I have.
True. Like I would love to play the Sinister Six one.
That was tough. It's cool. We definitely, you know what? You're right. We will be covering, because even the Infinity Gauntlet box, like the different scenario for that is very cool. So I didn't give like a basic rundown. I usually give it the games. So this game, Marvel United, came out in 2020. Like I said, it was a Kickstarter-backed project, but it is available in stores, the base game. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 plus. Again, I don't know why. There must be a weird like standard for gaming that has to be 14 plus, because there was nothing in this game that screamed.
Maybe choking on the pieces?
I don't know. I'll have to look into that. That might be an interesting topic, because there's some games I've come across that are like 10 plus, and I'm like, how was this 10 plus? But this one's 14 plus. It was designed by Andrea Chiarvicio and Eric Lang, who's a pretty prominent game designer.
Is he? Do you know of anything else that he's done that I might know of, or
nothing that we covered yet, but stuff we will be covering.
Okay, cool.
He's a name that's will come up again. He's one of those designers.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Has his hands in a lot of things. It was made by SpinMaster and CMON. CMON, also known as Cool Mini or Not, did all the miniatures. That's kind of their thing. They do very detailed miniatures. It's a co-op, meaning we play together, and it's a modular board, which means it's not a set board. It's a rotating. Every time you play, it's a different board type, different rules and different actions, and it's MSRP around $35. So it's another sweet spot game.
Which I've been monitoring this game. Just to add to my collection, price hasn't dropped.
No. No, and it's weird because Walmart version has different characters in it. So the Walmart version doesn't have Wasp, but has Venom as a good guy. So I just thought that was like a weird one. So it's like, I don't know if
I think Venom to me is a bad guy.
Well, I know in the Kickstarter, he's one of you have him as a villain or an ally.
That's cool.
But I think it's weird that like if you're gonna have an exclusive, add to it, don't take away, because somebody might like Wasp. That's one less female in the game. Like
I like the character Wasp. Like her character's cool in the movies. And it doesn't make sense.
It's a weird one, but that's it. That's the only difference between the exclusive. Do you ever see it at Walmart and you're like, wow, Venom's in there? Yeah. All right. So gameplay. Basic gameplay is card-driven game. Each character has their own deck of cards that's individual to them, and they have basic symbol on them. There's really barely any text to this game. You have like a move symbol, a wild card action, a fight icon,
and star.
And there's like a star. I don't know exactly what it's called. And then there's a board. It's not even a board. It's like 6 spaces essentially that you put out in the beginning of the game. And on each one of those pieces is a certain like end move action. And then there's civilians and little bad guys, essentially. There's little tokens of civilians and bad guys. And then depending on which villain you pick, there's a card that is geared to them. So each location gets one of their cards. It could be either henchmen or just like some kind of bad action that pops off if they land on there. So on your turn, you play cards. That's it. It's basically just it's called a storyline. So you draw a villain card, villain rotates that many,
and activates whatever
and then
power
activates
they have.
Whatever he lands on.
Then you play your 3 cards.
Then
it can be I could play all 3. You could play or a combination of what we work together as a team to beat the villain. You can jump around and knock out the henchmen or save the civilians, and then try to avoid Ultron's
like master plan.
And make sure he doesn't hit you. So me and you were jumping back and forth a lot too. Anytime we got near Ultron, we would just jump away from him to try to avoid any damage.
Yeah, so Ultron's ultimate goal, because each villain has a different goal scenario. His was to fill every location up with either the villain icons or the hero civilians. And it's basically like he's mind controlling
Yes.
the world. So if all those locations fill up, you lose. That's one of your lose scenarios.
And we also played against Red Skull, who's the Cosmic Cube, right?
He was gearing up to the Cosmic Cube. So basically, his was more of a timer, where if it got up to 20, we lost. He would have the Cosmic Cube. He had different cards that kind of activated his tracker, like it would go up 2 or 1 or 3. It's a lot of mitigation of your cards and then what's going on tiles, because to hurt him, you have to save X amount of civilians first, or beat a certain amount of henchmen first, or complete those scenarios on the bases. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of jumping around.
It's the same, but also feels very different each location. But you're not really worried. Like when we played, we weren't really worried about the location. We were worried about saving the civilians, beating the bad guys, and then dealing damage when we could to the main villain. So the first round, we were the Caps. We were Captain America, and you were Captain Marvel. In the second round, I was Ant-Man, and you were the Hulk.
Yep.
Which I think the Hulk's probably... Between the 4 that played, I think the Hulk was the best one. He had that one attack move that could dealt like 4 power. What was that?
He would move to any location and then like deal 1 damage to any bad guy there, and then clear out all the civilians. So you could, if it was like, and that's what's good about it being a co-op, where you and I were communicating. You're like, all right, like where do we want to go? Like this place has a lot of civilians. I'm just going to send the Hulk there, clear house, and then we'll go from there.
And that was the cool part of the game, was that I could play a card, you could play a card, and then I could play another card, and I could use the actions from the first card that I laid down, your action, and then my own action.
Yeah.
Which made it very cool, and that's to me, that's the uniqueness of anything I've played so far, is that every time we play, any game we've played before, if we play a card, we do it and then it's done. Unless it's like a, collect 1 each round or something.
Yeah. It was definitely plan ahead, because it was like, all right, if I play this jump card, RP can play that jump card, because you're kind of following the storyline of the card that is before the card you're putting down, you also have access to. So if I put down jump card and you put down a fist card, you can use my jump and then your fist. So I like that. I like that we have to communicate.
Yeah.
Our hands aren't secret. It's like, I have this, this, and this. If we do this, and this.
I literally laid my cards face up. And it gave the element of, I felt like we were the Avengers. We were working together. Like exactly like you were saying. Like it was fun. That's the aspect of it that I like. In terms of special, like what was special about this game, nothing really screams out to me other than it's Marvel.
Yeah.
It's
the miniatures. It's the miniatures, yeah.
It's the miniatures for sure. That's why I wanted this game a lot. And now that I've played it, I like it. This is a game that you could absolutely introduce to anybody. I think I learned it in like 3 minutes in one round. I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
This is a great game for kids.
Yeah.
Because it's not text. It's
yeah.
symbols. It's like, hey, like this symbol you jump with, so use this for the Hulk, and then I'll play this symbol. And
a lot of the games we've played have been reading. You have to read so much. Where this is like, yeah, okay, I get it. You knew the rules, so you explained it to me, and then I got it in like 2 or 3 minutes. Like it was quick, easy, and
the co-op nature is the biggest. It's just. Like I said, for a kid's game, it's just like, all right, hon, like we're gonna do this, like jump in, do this, and
a lot of it too is the fate of the cards with the villains. But I mean, it took us 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's very quick.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Because like when you sit down for a game, you're like, okay, you put in your head, I'm gonna be here for 45 minutes playing around, and that's what we do. We actually play these games. So, yeah, it doesn't say on there the time.
Yeah, normally games have time of how long it takes, but this game doesn't.
And your deck is not huge. Like, it's a smaller deck.
It's like a 15-card deck.
A deck of cards that we didn't have to reshuffle. For Ultron, we didn't have to.
Well, if you run out of cards, I think you lose.
That's
so it's like a little timer against him.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think
it's an easy mechanic, and that's why I think I like it so much. Where I'm not blown away. It's not, the thematic, like, it has the thematic of Red Skull wants the Tesseract.
A lot of Hulk's cards were very punch heavy, and Ant-Man.
Ant-Man had one cool one that jumped and did triple punch, and I think
You grew, yeah. It was supposed to be you grew.
you,
And then
you shrunk and got a card from the bottom of the deck. And Cap, I don't think Cap really had anything special.
his cards were, he was a leader. So
Yeah.
his cards affected a lot of the other players. You would give them like a wild card token.
Yeah.
And then Captain Marvel was very cool, where she had a lot of attacks that could hit adjacent
Yep.
locations, because you normally can only attack the location that you're on, where hers you could shoot at locations next to you, which makes sense. She shoots. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, that's her thing. Her
Yeah.
I think they're
Photon
called
blast,
Photon
yeah.
Blast. Yeah. But yeah, I recommend this game. Absolutely. It stinks that the expansions are for only people who kickstarted it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because the base game itself is fine. I think for the price point of like 30, if you can find it, for what's in the box, I think it's fine. I think it's a good game. But the villains are very basic. Now, all the expansions and Kickstarters of the villains, they're way more intricate and they're way harder. And that's the one thing I'll say is this game's very easy, like almost laughably easy. Where I played against Mysterio, and I don't know how you can win. I just don't know. I think it's
Really?
impossible. You play against Rhino, he could beat you in one turn.
Holy crap.
Like, it's happened. I've seen people kind of complain of how hard he is, where he can like run and charge and knock out your entire team within the first round, pretty much.
That's crazy.
So it is unfortunate. I hope they announced that when the Kickstarter originally came out, all the expansions were coming to retail. So I didn't back all the expansions. And then when they put out the X-Men one, they said, we're not putting them out to retail except for the Spider-Man one. And I'm not sure why, and I hope that changes.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they do come out, but I don't know how well.
I would like to get this game and grab more so that way I can play, but
I don't think it did well in retail. Like, I think the Kickstarter did amazing, but then in the stores, maybe which is weird because it has a good presence. Like you said, it's bright, it's vibrant.
Yeah, the
you
box
know
is
what you're
cool.
getting. It's
Yeah.
Marvel. Like,
yeah. And it's on the back. Everything's there.
and it's not a high price
So
point. It's
that-
not like $60.
Yeah,
That's like
no,
30, 35. That's
So that might change my opinion of the game in terms of why it might be more special if we played the expansions. Like, oh, man, this is a tough villain. I feel challenged playing this game. But I didn't feel challenged playing. We were
Nah.
like, yeah, nothing, no problem. Highly recommend it though. I think it's fun, and
Yeah.
after I get on the expansions, I probably have a better view of that.
we'll definitely have the game day where I just kind of bring everything and
Oh, I would love
we make a
that.
day of it, because I played this game solo plenty of times and have enjoyed it. But I think the communication is what's the fun part. Like you said, you want to feel like the Avengers, like me just sitting at a table playing by myself.
So you've played this solo,
Oh, plenty of times. Absolutely. Yeah.
and you still enjoy it
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
solo?
No, I think it's just as good solo as with other people. But like I said, like the communications, like it's the fun part.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like I'm gonna play this, you play that.
And you did some things I was like, oh man, that's cool.
Look at the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hulk blew me away.
Yeah, definitely want to introduce kind of everything to you. If you enjoy the base game, you'll love
Oh,
the
absolutely.
expansions for sure.
Absolutely. So I guess look for more Marvel United coming to us, and if you're interested, check it out on our Instagram page and YouTube, and go out, buy yourself a copy, experience it firsthand.
Yeah, it's a good price point. It's a good, like I said, if you're a family that enjoys Marvel and you have kids, this is a good kids game. It
Yeah.
really is. I don't think it's meant to be, but it is.
So we fought two villains.
Mhm.
Is it time for us to fight?
All right, you ready to fight? That's how we end our show every episode. We do a super fight. It's a game by Skybound, a very easy card game. You basically draw two fighters, which are the white cards, and then two black cards, which are either their strengths or weaknesses in the battle. You kind of argue with your friends on who to win, and that's it. It's simple. I think
It's a good way that we end the pod.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. So what do we got today?
So today we have Iron Man,
Ooh,
which worked out.
Wow.
I draw these random.
Wow. How about that?
That worked out perfectly. I know no one at home believes us, but these are, I draw them out randomly ahead of time, and that really how it worked out. So we have Iron Man and a Boy Scout.
Oh boy.
So who wins?
Iron Man.
Okay, without powers.
I mean, Boy Scouts are they're creative, and they know how to stop some
They get stuff done, but they can't stop a laser to the face.
But Iron Man, yeah.
All right, so Iron Man he's armed with pepper spray.
Get that? Something I could see that
has.
he would have in the armor suit.
A Boy Scout is armed with a long electrified whip. His
Okay, so Whiplash. Wow, this is playing out.
All right. And then Iron Man also has... He can clone himself, but each clone is half the size of the previous.
Okay.
And then the Boy Scout is also armed with a shotgun.
So his Iron Man copies are like one of those Russian
Oh, nesting dolls.
nesting dolls.
Yeah.
That's what it is. All right. Well, he does sound like Whiplash with a shotgun. It's a Boy Scout who is creative. My only problem here is that the Iron Man suit can do a lot of fly away from him and shoot him from afar with pepper spray or throw one of his mini
minions
minions at him and take
doesn't-
care of it.
The Boy Scout doesn't have a lot defensively.
No, that's it. That's what I'm trying to think defensively. I mean,
But-
if it's coming at you, he can knock it with the whip and or shoot him.
A shotgun is a spray shot.
True.
So if it's a bunch of tiny Iron Men,
That's true.
pow, and get a good spread.
Yeah, they'll probably be the size of the Marvel
The
United.
Chibis, yeah, there we go.
Seriously. I don't know. This is a tough one.
Yeah,
I
this
will
isn't
say.
as-
I'm leaning. My gut's telling me, and my brain are telling me Iron Man, just because it's Iron Man, and he would figure out a way because it's in the suit is Tony.
And it's pepper spray. You just pepper spray them.
Pepper spray the boy. Go fly right past him, pepper spray him, and then knock him out.
Pepper pots spray them. And then...
But yeah, if we're playing, say this is Marvel vs. Capcom, you got Iron Man versus Boy Scout. I'm going Iron Man.
Yeah. I think I would love to see this.
Yeah, so would I.
A lot of these fights, I'm like, that was. But
Boy Scout Whiplash, absolutely.
I would love to see this one. But yeah, I think Iron Man has it. Only because he has a more defensive capabilities. I think the Boy Scout need it.
A little bit.
Something,
A little bit more.
Like the tank from the gorilla last week.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think Iron Man takes it. Iron Man clones himself into a million. Even if you have a tiny Iron Man, you fly up his nose and blast his brain, and that's it. Done.
Just like they did to Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Or they were rumored to do to Thanos.
That was what everyone wanted, Ant-Man to go somewhere into Thanos and then expand.
All right, I think that does it for today's episode, right?
Wraps up episode 6.
Yeah. Six. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
3 months worth of podcast.
Yeah, just started off as a dream to get away.
Yeah, dude, it just took flight. It's been a lot of fun doing this. And if you guys like what you heard here, remember to rate, like, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts. Even if you don't have it, go find a way to submit
And
to
Audible.
Apple Podcasts.
Audible. I found us on
Yeah.
Audible.
Did we have a review on Audible?
Somebody reviewed, but you can review and comment on there as well. But yeah, the Apple Podcast is where it's important. It's important. Like
important to us.
any podcast you listen to. I mean, if you enjoy them, I mean, it's easy. All you do is 5 stars.
5 stars.
You don't even have to comment. You
Yeah.
can just 5 stars. I mean, it's
If you want to comment, it helps.
Yeah.
And you can just be like, hey, we love the Marvel United episode. I know we did an episode and we led somebody to buy it, the game on Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's right. Reach out to us on Instagram and
they
said
said
he bought Forbidden Island.
Forbidden Island, yeah, which was awesome. That was so cool for us. We were like, oh my, no way! Like we're
Yeah.
actually like
We influenced
we
somebody.
we influenced someone to buy a game that is good. It's a good game.
Yeah,
though.
that is a great game. If you're jumping on now, listen to episode 1.
Yeah, and listen to all of them. But yeah, remember to rate, like, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
And if you like what you heard here, and you may like some stuff over previously recorded, go check them out.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a great day.